Here are 15 of the best Ask Reddit stories for today. I hope you enjoy and remember to subscribe. It really helps us out. We post new videos every day.
Conspiracy theory do you believe is 100% true? That there are people rich enough to disappear? There must be some billionaires we've never heard of. Celebrities aren't actually giving their kids absurd names, they just aren't publicizing their legal names. Checks out with Elon's ex-12 son. When asked informally how the child, by name, was doing, Elon looked visibly confused like he'd never heard the name before. There's a good amount of video of it, and it makes sense. That Epstein was murdered to keep the world's elite secrets from being outed. And the other two men linked to Epstein who are awaiting trial that died within the last year. Both died under the same circumstances. I think the trend where you show a picture of yourself now versus 10 years ago was promoted if not invented by Facebook-owned social media companies in order to train artificial intelligence to be able to recognize and analyze how faces age. Mattress companies are a front for money laundering, so is modern art. Who needs 3 mattress shops in one town? Modern art is definitely a front for money laundering. It's not specifically just money laundering but hiding wealth and avoiding taxes. You, Richie McRicherson, buy a piece of shit of art for $5K, then get all your rich friends to claim it's worth $50K, then you donate to a museum and write off $45K in taxes. It's very common. The CIA regularly posts this topic to see if people are catching on to the real conspiracies yet. Garbage man woman of the world. What's the worst thing you have found thrown away? I found my wife in a pile of garbage while working on a garbage truck. I was being trained as a garbage man, and one day a woman was throwing out way too much good stuff, boxes of books, and I could see she was trying to fill a car and minivan, so I figured she was moving and having to sacrifice good stuff. I talked to her and offered to come back later and help her move so she didn't have to throw away so much stuff, and it ended up being a story that her husband left her for her best friend and they moved in together, and she couldn't afford the townhouse anymore as she was undergoing cancer treatment. We got married 1 year later. I like to say I found her in the trash and fixed her up, but the truth is it is opposite. I was the trash she fixed up. You subtly F with people. I look over people's shoulders when they're unlocking their phone so I can see their 4-digit code. Then I pretend I'm making a phone call and very loudly use their number in my fake conversation. Yeah, the address is 8319 Main Street. It's so much fun to see their neck snap back with this what the fuck look, and then watch them mentally process the depth of such a remarkable coincidence. It's even more fun to do it with people you know and don't really like. Say no pun intended occasionally after saying something normal in conversation. Most people don't want to look stupid and will laugh awkwardly while trying to figure out what the pun was. At parties, I like to introduce myself as my boyfriend's sister and then kiss him in front of whoever I introduced myself to. It has to be a peck on the lips, but drawn out just enough to gross them out. It's become a really awful inside joke. He's a good sport about it, though. Once he wrapped his arms around me as I was talking to one of his ex-co-workers and whispered, "Did you text mom?" Something people consider normal, but it's actually creepy. That map feature on Snapchat. I will never enable that, so weird. People excitedly counting down the days until certain celebrities turn 18. The latest one I can remember was that Millie Bobby Brown girl. When people kiss their family members on the mouth, normal to them, but really effing weird to the rest of us. The Pledge of Allegiance. You Americans grow up with that, and you're all used to it. You have no idea how creepy it looks to outsiders. A whole classroom of children, instructed to mindlessly chant a national loyalty oath every day. Having access to all your friends' locations at any time. When people post other people's baby online. Touching a pregnant person's belly, double creepiness if it's a stranger asking to feel the baby kick. Double again if they don't ask permission first. That people can be rich enough to be above the law. 24-year-olds dating high schoolers.
What's the best theory on UFOs or aliens you've ever heard? If aliens are on this planet, they are likely using the ocean as a place to hide. That greys aren't fully biological, but rather remotely controlled androids. Or that they are biological, but their gray appearance is a suit and not the actual body. Imagine other life forms looking at our astronauts saying, "Here come the marshmallow cyclops creatures again." Forgot to say. I reckon we are very DNA planted here and they come to check on their experiment from time to time. Aliens landed once in Africa. Got eaten by lions. Planet now marked as dangerous by the galactic feds. That explains why Australia never has sightings. Aliens don't necessarily mean an intelligent civilization. Yeah. Alien just means a living organism not from Earth. So if we found a plant, fungus, protozoa, bacteria, etc. on another planet, it would be an alien.
What should never have been invented? Pop-up ads. Even the inventor apologized for it. Non-peel-offable stickers. Double unskippable ads. Dental insurance. Teeth should have been covered under medical insurance. Subscription-based programs and items. I don't want to pay a monthly subscription to use Adobe or other items. I want to do a one-time purchase. Goddamn bioweapons, that shit is scary. Ketchup-flavored ice cream. I happily could have lived in a society without Facebook having been invented. Sex bots on social media and spam calling. Subscription to use features of a device you already purchased like BMW's heated seat subscription. Unskippable ads. Microtransactions in games. Flushable wipes, they're not actually flushable. Homeowners associations. Reddit. What is the worst party you have ever attended? An office Christmas party, not an officially sanctioned company event, but an informal gathering at a coworker's house. No bosses were there. At some point my wife looked at me and said, "You're drunk, you need to get home." Now, I don't know what made her say that. I'm not an obnoxious drunk. I don't get into arguments with people or say outrageous things. I might have been slurring my words a little, but I wasn't on the point of falling down or throwing up. But I trusted her judgment, so I let her drive me home. I was drunk enough that I went straight to bed and fell sound asleep. So what did my wife do? She went back to the party without me, and ended up making out with one of my co-workers. This was my first wife. One of the many graduation parties I went to after high school. It was an awesome party for an hour or so, then some 17-year-old showed up with her baby, and kept insisting people keep it down so she could get the baby to sleep and have some time to herself and to party. Cleared out pretty fast. What would your 15-year-old self think about the life you are living now? You're still collecting Pokemon cards? Prove it. And I'd take back a card from childhood and a modern card to show him. Knowing me, I'd believe it after that. What happened to becoming rich plan? Was a pipe welder making $30 an hour with only a GED. Not too shabby. What's that? You broke your back at only 32 years old, had 2 back surgeries and still took 10 years before they would approve you for disability. Shoot me now, an office job. Ha. Loser. You hated school every single day of your life, so the hell did you become a teacher? Wait. You've been in college for how long? Surprised that I'm doing everything I thought I never could. What are some interesting life hacks for saving money? Always eat before going food shopping. I don't smoke but live my financial life as a smoker. Meaning every Monday I transfer the sum of 1 week's worth of cigarettes to my savings account. If people that earn less than me can afford smoking, so can I. Don't buy the cheapest option. Often the middle-priced option will be the best value. Things that are too cheap are worth what you paid for them. Buy second-hand. Today I have secured myself a solid pine desk for my daughter's room, no marks or damage, for £10, and a worn ones, 3-piece navy suit for my son to wear at our wedding next year, also for £10. I buy maybe 80% of my stuff second-hand. I bide my time, wait for a bargain, and I have saved so much money over the years. Only drinking water is a solid one. Soda at restaurants or other drinks add up a lot. I don't spend $1 bills. I collect them in a box, and at the end of the year I usually have a few $100s.
The stupidest thing someone has argued with you about. I work at student loans, and if you have a child under 18 and your household income is under a certain amount, you're eligible to receive a grant to help with childcare. Woman comes in and I tell her with her income she can receive said grant. She says she doesn't want it. I tell her it's a grant that she'll never have to pay back, unlike her tuition fee and maintenance loan. She doesn't want it as her child is 13 and can handle herself. I say I understand, but explain it is offered to everybody in the threshold, so it's basically free money to help people with children. She doesn't want it. In the end I asked her if I offered her £2,000 which she would never have to pay back if she could prove her child is dependent on her, would she take it? She said yes, obviously. I say that's what the childcare grant is. She doesn't want it.
A Rubik's Cube in less than 12 seconds? No way. Okay, good, neither can I, just wanted to make sure I wouldn't be intimidated by you. Haha, okay, good. Okay, sweet, we're dating now. That's how Tinder works, or so I'm told. Lol, okay, but I don't think my boyfriend would like that. No, I'm fine with it. What did the weird kid in your school do that you'll never forget? At an all-school assembly during my freshman year, a motivational speaker posed an easy rhetorical question to the crowd, and the weird kid in my grade unnecessarily shouted out the answer, to every bored person's sudden delight. For some reason, trying to maintain his authority, the speaker asked our weird kid, "What's your name, son?" Without pause, weird kid stood up from his chair and loudly proclaimed, "My name is Booger." This announcement was met with raucous applause and laughter from the entire student body. It was gloriously random and weird. From then on, the weird kid was known only as Booger in our small town. It fit him better than Sean, and he effing owned that name until graduation. Went to a large school, around 3,000 students. If anyone said anything to the weird kid that he didn't like, he would stare at you and recite your name and address. A little creepy. Ate styrofoam, and then visibly lied about it when someone pointed it out. Bits of styrofoam were coming out of his mouth. Ate a sheep pie we were supposed to dissect in science class. Man oh man. One day the bell rings, playground doors open, weird kid walks directly to the center and screams for a full minute. I thought it was weird then, but now I can relate. He had a book where he would write in people that wronged him. I got put in for smelling like soap. Hissed at people in the halls and then bit someone. Naruto ran everywhere, told everyone her dad was Harry Potter, at age 12, and most memorably, came to school bawling her eyes out because she said she had laid an egg and her parents had eaten it for breakfast.
Conspiracy theory do you believe is 100% true? That there are people rich enough to disappear? There must be some billionaires we've never heard of. Celebrities aren't actually giving their kids absurd names, they just aren't publicizing their legal names. Checks out with Elon's ex-A12 son. When asked informally how the child, by name, was doing, Elon looked visibly confused like he'd never heard the name before. There's a good amount of video of it, and it makes sense. That Epstein was murdered to keep the world's elite secrets from being outed. And the other two men linked to Epstein who were awaiting trial that died within the last year. Both died under the same circumstances. I think the trend where you show a picture of yourself now versus 10 years ago was promoted if not invented by Facebook-owned social media companies in order to train artificial intelligence to be able to recognize and analyze how faces age. Mattress companies are a front for money laundering, so is modern art. Who needs 3 mattress shops in one town? Modern art is definitely a front for money laundering. It's not specifically just money laundering but hiding wealth and avoiding taxes. You, Richie McRicherson, buy a piece of shit of art for $5K, then get all your rich friends to claim it's worth $50K, then you donate to a museum and write off $45K in taxes. It's very common. The CIA regularly posts this topic to see if people are catching on to the real conspiracies yet. Redditors who have been in a coma, did you dream about anything during that period? If so, what about? I was in a medically induced coma for a week and a half courtesy of a car accident. My family was at my bedside the entire time. Whenever I would move they would calmly say to me that I had been in a bad car accident, I was okay, and I was in a hospital. In dreams I was going about my daily business of college classes and coffee houses. The twist would be that I was introducing myself as having been in a bad car accident but I was okay and in a hospital, or in class I dropped a pen because my arm hurt and the student in front of me says that of course my arm hurts because I was in a bad car accident and so on. These morphine dreams varied and were many, from the surreal to the mundane. Then I had the realization that if I've been in a bad car accident that I should go to the hospital. So, in my dreams I walk into the local college town's hospital, politely check into triage saying hi, I've been in a bad car accident but I'm okay and I wanted to get checked out. That's when the nurses and doctors descended upon me in a life-saving frenzy. After that I opened my eyes. What is a secret you will only tell to strangers on the internet? I'd been saving a $100 bill in my wallet for months on end waiting to use it. Every time I went to spend it, my gut said no. Every time I went to give it to a random panhandler, my gut said no. A few weeks ago, I saw a woman with her child on the side of the road asking for money for diapers/formula. She didn't have any of the hallmarks of a long-term homeless person or of an addict. Just looked like a desperate mother in need. As I passed her, my gut just said, it's time. So, I stopped and gave her the $100. The look on her face when she realized the single bill I was giving her was $100 was priceless and I'll never forget it. Best $100 I've ever spent. Only person I told was my GF because she asked me why I always carry a $100 bill on me that I never spend, so I told her when I finally let it go. When AskFM was a thing, I used to spam the question boxes of girls who had low self-esteem with nice compliments. Aunt was going to be short for her rent. I paid the landlord and told him to say that she paid it earlier in the month. She was so happy about it. Made steaks for supper and paid extra on other bills so she'd be ahead of them. Which Mandela effect freaks you out the most and why? That the Fruit of the Loom logo never had a cornucopia. What's crazy about that one is that someone emailed the creator of the logo about it and he said even he remembers it having one. I swear to God the Monopoly man had a monocle. I'm not sure about anyone else, but I swear I remember Pikachu having black detailing on the tip of its tail. The fact that it's Febreze not Febreze gets me. Avril Lavigne never did a Got Milk? Ad poster. Tinkerbell's dotting the I in the Disney logo. A lot of people say they recall her shaking her wand to try and get it working again. Maybe too late and this comment will be buried, but anyone I know who has owned a smartphone, specifically Apple, at some point can describe a hiking/hiker emoji to me perfectly. We all remember it the same way, emoji character bent over with a hiking stick/pole on the side of a mountain with a backpack on. However, this emoji doesn't exist and never has. Edit, while you're at it check your phone for the black/white striped burglar emojis too.